Hello again, my name's Dave Zolna. This is the 2nd of April 2018. I'm going to attach a link to an article on the Western Journal. This was written by Becky Logia, posted on April the 2nd, 2018. Title: Florida high school students walk out to support Second Amendment rights. There's an embedded video you might want to take a look at. In the aftermath of the Parkland, Florida shooting that took the lives of 17 people, the debate around gun laws and the Second Amendment rights has intensified. As reported by Fox News, a group of students at Rockledge High School in Central Florida staged a walkout Friday to protest what they believe is a violation of their rights. The students held a protest in support of the Second Amendment, claiming that a movement to honor victims and survivors of the February 14th shooting by implementing stricter gun control measures has grown far too political, essentially silencing those who do support gun rights. Quote, "I'm pro-Second Amendment," end of quote, said Rockledge Junior Anna Delaney, who helped organize the protest. Quote, "I wouldn't mind deeper background checks, of course, but the Second Amendment will not be infringed upon," end of quote. Well, it already has been. The event stood in stark contrast to the March 14th protest that saw thousands of students across the country ditch school in order to call for stricter measures when it comes to regulating the Second Amendment. There was also thousands upon thousands of people that weren't students in those protests. That day, many from Rockland stood on a football field to form the shape of a heart in honor of the victims of the Parkland shooting. 7 weeks later, nearly 75 students participated in Friday's event, with the protest lasting 20 minutes, according to Florida Today. Students walked around the school's track as they carried American flags and large signs with phrases like, quote, "Guns don't kill people, people kill people," end of quote. And quote, "I support the right to bear arms," end of quote, written on them. Some students even camouflaged clothing and quote, "Make America Great Again," end of quote, hats. You gotta make it sane again first. Though the protest stood in stark contrast to the pro-gun control movement that has swept the country, the students backed up their argument by stating that America was formed, at least in part, on the right to bear arms. America wouldn't exist if that right weren't there at that time. We're built on certain rights, and that's one of the original rights, that we should have the right to bear arms, said sophomore Chloe Dayton, another of the walkout's organizers. Zachary Schneider, a junior at the school, added, "It's all over the news right now that all students hate guns. I want to show that not all students feel that way." Meanwhile, Rockledge principal Vicki Hickey said the school gave the Second Amendment advocacy event the same treatment as it did the walkout in support of gun control. They need to call it what it is. It isn't gun control. It's total gun confiscation. That's what they want. As both protests were completely driven by students. Although the walkout organizers said the event was not held to endorse any particular political belief, many who participated expressed their opposition to the new gun control law signed by Florida Governor Rick Scott. You know what Florida Governor Rick Scott wants to become? He's a wannabe senator. The law, which came in response to the Valentine's Day shooting, raised the minimum age to purchase firearms from 18 to 21 and implemented a 3-day waiting period to buy long guns. So obviously, the Second Amendment has been infringed upon. Quote, "I finally got old enough to buy my own ammunition and my own guns, and I lost it again," stated Schneider, referring to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act. The controversial law also bans the sale and possession of bump stocks, a policy supported by President Donald Trump himself, which are devices that essentially turn a semi-automatic weapon into a fully automatic one. Yeah, and you can't aim it. Many of those protesting on Friday said they support a martial program to train in art arm teachers and other staff so they can be prepared to act in case of an active shooter situation. What they need to do is get rid of the gun-free zones. That's step number one. That can be done immediately. They don't have to wait to train anybody. Just get rid of the gun-free zones. Parents can protect their children as well. I read you the entire article. Take a look at that embedded video. I think you'll find it to be somewhat of interest. Pass it along to your like-minded friends. You see, you got arguments on both sides. Which one's going to win? Well, if the Democrats get into power, we know which one's going to win, and we know which one's going to lose, don't we?